Welcome to Tuesday. It's April 7th, and you're watching and listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, we'll continue to have nice weather until, we'll get to that in a minute. But right now, it looks like mild, breezy conditions, a few showers around. Basically today through Friday, across the central and northern Rockies and the western and central high plains, the weather going to be very nice. Yes, it's going to be windy. It's not going to be perfect. Today in particular will be quite windy. It'll be a little bit cooler Wednesday, Thursday before temperatures warm up on Friday. But it looks like we're going to avoid any bad weather through Friday. It is going to be a little bit cooler Wednesday and Thursday by about 10 degrees. A couple of showers could sneak up from the southwestern United States. But what we've got to watch for now is our confidence is getting better and better that much colder temperatures and rain and snow will invade this weekend and into next week. Stock growers, especially anyone calving or lambing, really pay attention to this because what we see coming this weekend and next week is right out of the pages of January. It's amazing how weather patterns repeat themselves to some extent. Remember a week ago when we had a big outbreak of cold. It didn't last long. Well, this time around, this next outbreak of cold is going to have some more staying power. So don't be lulled into a false sense of security with the warm spring-like weather we've got right now. This is where the jet stream pattern is going to be today. We've got that high pressure of the Gulf of Alaska, that low in California. This low here just going to bring some really needed rain to central and southern California. Good news for them, while southwest wind flow comes into the high plains and Rockies. But notice there's some opposing forces going on here. We've got southwest winds around the counterclockwise spin of this guy right here, bringing the mild air in, but also coming in from the northwest is the jet stream. And this is what's going to cool us off right here a little bit for Wednesday into Thursday. But overall, this is a nice spring pattern, really warming up into this part of the nation here. There's going to be some mid to upper 80s in Dallas tomorrow. However, let's go a little bit further out. This is by Saturday morning. That California low slides into southern Arizona and is going to go this way and get sucked up by the jet stream. But here we go. Here's our British Columbia low here. And here's the Gulf of Alaska Ridge. I can't stress that enough. When that Gulf of Alaska Ridge builds, the door to Canada is swung wide open. It's like leaving your refrigerator door open. The cold is just going to come. So by Saturday morning, northwest winds begin to push into the central Rockies. So what will happen is throughout the course of the weekend, the air just gets colder and colder. And this time of year, cold northwest winds aloft really generate a lot of clouds and makes it easy for precipitation to form. And then by Monday morning, look at the trajectory of air. Here's that Gulf of Alaska Ridge. I want to show you something. You notice all of these things that look like barbs? Well, these show which direction the wind is coming and how strong. So these guys right here are showing winds coming from the northwest fairly light. But I want to watch and show you what happens with the trajectory of air that comes into Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado and the Dakotas. The trajectory of the air coming in at 18,000 feet is coming right out of northwest Canada, the Yukon, before turning in. So the flow of air is coming in from the higher latitudes straight into here. This is really cold for April. So the trajectory of the air is literally coming from, the edge of the Arctic Circle. That means, we're going to get a lot colder. And this high pressure ridge in the Gulf of Alaska just displaces air in those higher latitudes south. So as we look ahead, all the way 10 days out, by next Thursday, the winds aloft are still coming in from the northwest. So the cold is going to have staying power. Look at this guy. This guy could very well come in and sweep in right behind it. This basically means, folks, for 2 weeks, starting this weekend, it is going to get unseasonably cold. Don't shoot the messenger, but enjoy what we've got right now. Now, one thing I want to show you that we use in forecasting, some of us use this, it's called analog forecasting, which means let's identify a pattern in previous years that looks similar to what we have now. What I'm showing you is from, it's a little hard to see here, but this is from April 2011. We may call April 2011 an analog month because For the whole month of April, the average ridge of high pressure was, look where it is, in the Gulf of Alaska. This yellow-green is representing high pressure and warmer temperatures aloft. That's what's going on right now in the Gulf of Alaska, while this purple shows colder than average conditions aloft coming on in. This is very similar to what the modeling and what the trend in the forecast is showing, at least for the next 2 weeks. Now, April 2011 was a cold, wet month for most of the Rockies and the Plain States and the central United States. So what we do is we go back and we look at patterns that are similar. And here's a really similar example. This is very close to what we saw in 2011 right here. We're seeing it in 2020. So you go back and what you do is you look at 2011, you see what happened, because that's what could happen here in 2020 as we at least look ahead for the next couple of weeks. Stock growers, pay attention because we are going to see 30 to 40 to 50 degree drop in temperatures by this weekend and early next week. This is what the precipitation forecast through 10 days looks like. Notice the trajectory, the outline of the heavier precipitation lines up with that northwest to southeast flow. That's a lot different than what's happened over the last couple of weeks when we've had these California lows come this way. Well, this California low is going to scoot down here while the cold comes in and brings that northwest flow. That northwest flow bringing in the cold air could produce snow like this. That's right, folks. This is snow getting far out on into the plains. So the 60, the 70 degree weather we have right now is just a flash in the pan. Temperatures relative to average by Sunday. Now this is by Sunday afternoon. Denver is 33 degrees below normal, about 30 degrees below normal in Cheyenne. The cold core is going to be going all the way down into eastern Colorado and western Kansas, then go into Texas by the early parts of next week. By next Wednesday, it doesn't get any better. Look at this, 45 degrees below average in Torrington and Scottsbluff by next Wednesday. So this is the real McCoy, and our confidence is growing that this will happen. Could it back off? Could we have a different story tomorrow? We might, but if we get past tomorrow with no significant change, then it's a foregone conclusion about the cold. Hopefully, that will change. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye on it and update you tomorrow. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast.